Hello, my name is Lisa Shea, and today we're going to talk about using Instagram on your computer. So we're talking about doing this on a desktop computer where normally you don't have apps. Most people use Instagram on a phone or a tablet or something that can run Google Play or the Apple Store or something else that lets you download apps. But in general, a computer is not app-based, it's program-based, which is different. So this means if you're an author or an artist and you're trying to promote your works on Instagram, it can be tricky because, well, you can put pictures onto your phone from your regular camera, geez Louise, like your Canon or your Nikon or something else like that. You know that cell phone cameras are good cameras, but there are other cameras that tend to have higher resolution and better quality lenses and so on that you might want to use either for the primary photography work or for taking pictures of your paintings or cyanotypes or whatever else that is that you are doing. So you can get those pictures onto your phone, or you can put them on your computer and work on them in Photoshop or something else and then put them on your phone, but that can be a extra step in a drawn-out process that isn't really necessary. So what we're going to talk about today is using BlueStacks, which is a program that you run on your computer that emulates a phone, and that lets you then use Instagram right on your computer. So instead of having to take things off your phone or off the other devices, put them onto your computer, and then move them back onto your phone to then try to post with a tiny little set of keyboards and so on. You can use your full set of keyboards, use your full giant monitor to be able to manage things and make sure everything looks correct, and use them on your computer. So if you see over on the left-hand side, I've got BlueStacks running. Let me show you where the place that you get it from is. So the site is bluestacks.com. It is completely free. So you can download, right now they're running BlueStacks 4, soon they're going to have BlueStacks 5 out for full use. I would generally recommend using the version that is the best tested version, in this case 4. You just have random problems anyway with BlueStacks, so unless you're a cutting edge person who just likes playing with new technology, which normally I do, but for something that I really need like BlueStacks, I'll go with the stable version to make sure that everything is set. Alright, so you download the BlueStacks software, and once you do, then you get a BlueStacks icon on your computer. So let's launch BlueStacks. They'll show you an ad while it's loading. It's just the way most of these software packages work. And this will let you run any app that you could normally run on a phone. So they've got all sorts of games on here. They've got all sorts of utilities. You know, you can search for things and find things that you want to use. And then we'll go to my area. And I've got Instagram, and I've got Flip-a-Clip and some other random stuff in here. So if you need to download Instagram once you get BlueStacks running, then you'd go into Google Play. And this is the normal Google Play kind of interface, and you look for Instagram. So you'd see that you can download Instagram. So in my case, I actually need to update it. Let's just do it while we're here. So we'll update Instagram. So if you were a person who is just setting this up, there'd be an install button there. You would hit install. Since I already had it on there, I am running update. So I have installed Instagram now. And we'll go back to my home. So we've got the Instagram icon, which is now the new updated version of Instagram, and the other stuff. So you could sit there and download whatever you want to. This is also a boon because Instagram normally only lets you have 5 accounts per device. So on my phone, I already have 5 different Instagram accounts for the different sites that I run. And even on my boyfriend's phone, I have multiple accounts set up on his phone to use. But this lets me get either access to another 5 accounts if I need to, or to have easier access, like I have my Lisa Shea author account set up on both devices. So that way, if I'm trying to do something that's fairly graphic intensive, I could do it on my PC and then just directly upload it to Instagram from here. Alright, so to summarize for the steps up to this point, you're on a PC or a Mac or something else like that that normally doesn't have access to Instagram, so you install the BlueStacks software first from bluestacks.com. Once it's installed, you launch BlueStacks, and when you go to Google Play, you can now access pretty much anything in the Google Play library. So one of those things is Instagram. And once you download Instagram into this account, you will always have Instagram available right here on your Home tab. So your Home tab shows you where you have things installed. My laptop is still updating and restarting, so we will test that once that comes back up again, just to make sure the vocals and everything are working properly. But in the meantime, let us launch Instagram. So you just click on it. Right, so it is resized into a phone shape, or a tablet shape, we'll say. Oops, sorry. It's a little tricky to try to get a spot to drag this, which is what I was trying to do, to get that a little more central. So you don't get a bigger shape. Instagram is designed to work in this kind of shape for the app side. And I suppose I'll briefly mention that here. Let's open a browser. You can see Instagram on a PC. So it's not that you can't see Instagram and see what's going on and see who's messaging you and who you're following and all that other kind of stuff from your PC. The problem is you can't post from your PC. All you can do is look at things and view things. So the benefit, so these are people that I'm following and the different things that they're posting about, mostly authors and artists. So you can comment on people and like them and do all that kind of stuff from the regular browser interface, but you cannot post. And that's what the benefit of having the Instagram app on your PC is, through BlueStacks, because now you can make posts. All right, so just like I was showing you on the browser side, you can look at your Instagram page, look at the images that are on there. You can look at your feed. You can see what your friends and the people that you were following are posting about. And you can hit the like button. So let's find something in here. Alright, so that's a cute picture. We'll hit like. We'll put a comment and say very cute. So all the basic operations in here are just as they would be with your phone or tablet. Click on the heart button to like things, click on the comment button to add comments to it. The difference is that you're using your mouse to move around instead of clicking on fingers, and then when you're typing you can type on a full keyboard, which makes it, at least for me, so much easier than trying to deal with it on a tiny phone. And then when you want to post, you get the normal post buttons. And here, let's find something to post. All right, so I'm going to open up Photoshop. Photoshop just takes a second to open. All right, so let's, what shall we do? Trying to see where I put the pictures that I took of my book. It must be in here. Oh wait, no, actually I made a folder for them. Love book. Alright, so when I was out walking recently, I took a bunch of pictures of me holding a compilation, that book that I'm a part of, in different locations. So this sort of thing. Actually, it's my boyfriend holding it. But we were on a bike trail and we took this. So Instagram likes squares, but I centered them so that they would work horizontally for Twitter and Facebook and also work in a square form for Instagram. So I think actually that picture is pretty good as is. I could sit here and do some tweaks. I don't want to do too many because that's not the purpose of this video, but I could do some tweaks in here if I wanted to. Because Instagram has some nice filters, but Photoshop just has way more options in here for really tweaking things. Alright, so we'll go with that. Some nice medium contrast. Maybe pull the vibrance up a little bit. You don't want things to be over saturated because then that starts to look a little silly, but just a little bit. Alright, let's play with the shadows a little bit. Alright, now I actually like it there. And just a little bit to pull out the stuff in the heart. Alright, so anyway, we will save that as Fox Spirit Pathway. Alright, so this is a picture I took with an actual camera. I brought it in here. I was able to work on it in Photoshop. So I'm doing a work on all non-phone systems. And now I am ready to load this into Instagram. So now I could transfer this over to my phone and then deal with it on the phone. But I'm sitting here at my computer, so I might as well just do it from my computer and have access to the easier stuff for that. So Fox Spirit Pathway. So in here, in the BlueStacks app where I have Instagram running, I'm going to hit the little plus button. And I'm going to add something to my feed post, because you have different ways that you can add images to your Instagram account. Alright, so it's right now showing me the gallery. So these are just watercolor images I worked on for one of my BVAA projects. And there's a previous picture I took, just a little layout on my desk when the book was on my phone to do promos for it. It's fine to do promos of the book on a phone, but it just sells better when you do promos with an actual physical book, if you have a physical book. So it's a good idea to take pictures with a physical book if you can. Alright, so my picture isn't in the gallery, the online existing gallery for Instagram. So I'm going to go track it down. So if I click on the gallery drop down to see my other choices, I have gallery, photos, Instagram, and other. So we're going to go for other. So now it gets a little small because it's a horizontal window inside a vertical frame. But one of the options in here is to pick from windows. So I'm going to choose that I'm going to pick my image from windows. It says, where do you want to find it? Since I just worked on it, I can just go to quick access and just run here one of these recent files that I was working on. Alright, sometimes it says unable to load and then it will say imported correctly. It's alright. So we're going to go to Instagram. And let's see if it showed up in the recent now. It gets a little iffy sometimes. There we go. So sometimes you just have to hit the button a couple times between the interface between Windows and Instagram for it to connect. But eventually it will show up here. So we can see in the Instagram pile, we still have the turtle that I painted. But over in the shared folder, now we've got access to this love picture. So I'm going to click on that. Alright, so this is a rectangle, if I zoom out. But on Instagram, squares are best. So when you take pictures, it's generally good to take them so they work well, both as a rectangle shape and as a square shape. So we're going to bring this back down to a square shape. Yeah, play with this a little. It's good to have things not quite centered. It gives you a sense of movement in the image. You want to think about thirds, which is part of why they show you the thirds lines in here. Alright, so I think I like that placement. Alright, so we'll go with that. And they give you a bunch of filters by default, but really if you've got the PC, I would go with GIMP or Photoshop or something else to do some real editing on it, because their filters are nice, but they are not very precise compared to what you can do with an actual photo editor. So my key in here is that I want to be able to show the beautiful detail that they have filled in the heart here, make sure the title stands out well, and then make sure the background doesn't compete, because if you have a cluttered image, it's hard to see what you're trying to focus on. It's good to have the focal point be nice and clear and bright, have the brightest brights and the darkest darks, and then the rest of it be a softer image with the softer medium level tones so that they don't compete with this main image here. Alright, so now we're down to the caption part. So I'll say it's with the Blackstone Valley Art Association. But in terms of the caption part, now we can just go to my Windows Explorer. And what I've done is I've made a file here of artwork hashtags. And actually this is a book. I'm so used to doing art that I grabbed the artwork hashtags. But while we're here, you can see that I came out with which kinds of hashtags work best for artwork, and I have one for watercolors, I have other ones for other kinds of things, for mandalas. And this way you can just cut and paste with your common hashtags and then add on a couple more that are particular to this thing that you're currently working on. All right, so instead of artwork hashtags, we're going to go for the writing hashtags, which are down in here. I have to figure out where I put them. Hashtags for writing. All right, here we go. So we've got all the writing community, writers of Instagram, writers of IG, all that other kind of stuff. So we're going to put all of those in, so I can just select it in my hashtags for writing, paste it right in there. So before it, we're going to put taking a romantic walk with my fox spirit. Here, let's tag them. Fox spirit. Book of beautiful love short stories. Grab your copy today on Amazon. Alright, so, and then you always want a link. You want a call to action. Now, I realize that people on smartphones won't be able to click the link, but other people will be able to click the link. So it's always better to have a link than to not have a link, because the people who can use it can, and the people who won't use it will be able to search for it. So then you want to say search for Fox Spirit Book of Love, or click, and now we'll go to Amazon. Alright, so here's the book. When you are clicking a link from Amazon, don't take this entire thing of garbage, because that's just a giant mess. The only thing that matters is the URL up to this ref equals. So this part of the URL here, up to the ref equals. And you can test it. Always test your links before posting them anywhere, because you want to make sure the link works. So I am going to select the text up to the ref. I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it. Now I'm going to delete out this entire link, and I'm going to paste in just what I copied. So just the little short part, hit return. It does work, it does go to the book. Always test a link before you use it. So now that we know that we have a valid link, we're going to go in here to the or click and paste in that little short link. So your link should always be nice and short. It should have Amazon.com, it should have something that resembles the name of the book, probably a DP or KP or something else like that, and then something short there, and that should be it. Don't have all the other ref garbage in there, because it just makes your post long and messy. Alright, so we've got the base set of hashtags in there. My laptop is still restarting, so I apologize if you have comments. You can post them, and I will get back to you later with any answers to comments. So we've got the standard hashtags in there. And then we're going to add in some specific to this particular book. So we're going to put in love, love story, love stories, short story, short stories. All right, how many hashtags am I up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, what else? Romance, romantic stories. Yeah, that doesn't have a lot of. You want to, for news ones, when you're doing these kinds of just random posts, you want to take a look at the actual counts here and make sure you're using something that is used by people. There's no sense wasting a hashtag on something that pretty much nobody uses. Alright, so taking a romantic walk with my Auntie Fox book of beautiful love short stories. Grab your copy today on Amazon, search for Fox Spirit Book of Love, or click on the link. So that way you cover both bases. And then a bunch of hashtags. Alright, you only ever want to post from where you are. So don't cross-post this to Facebook or Twitter or Tumblr, because you're putting a bunch of Instagram hashtags in here. Those aren't going to work on Facebook or Twitter. I mean, they're not going to be useful, and if anything, they're going to turn people off who think that you're just spamming. You want to make a post on Instagram, and then you want to cut and paste this, and then make a similar post on Twitter, make a similar post on Facebook, but change out the hashtags so that they're appropriate to the system that you're posting on. And also, as I said, this is a square image. Square images work great on Instagram. Twitter and Facebook both use long rectangle images, so you want to maximize your image to work best on the platform that you are posting on. So we're going to post that. It will take a second. And now we've got the new image up. All right, so you can make posts. You can make posts here. Let's make a post to our stories just so you can see. So the same thing, I clicked on the plus in the top right. We're going to click on story this time. It says, what do we want to add to the story? We're going to click on our love picture. We're going to send it to our story. All right, so now that image is in our story as well. So the process for posting is, with the little hiccups, fairly straightforward. So you click to post, you click to say that you're going to find it on your Windows drive, and then sometimes there's a little hiccup that happens between it getting connected on your Windows drive and it being seen by Instagram. So sometimes you just have to click 2 or 3 times, sometimes you just have to give it a few seconds before the connection fully locks in there. But it does work. You just have to be a little patient. And the benefit here is that you are now able to make posts from your PC with images that are on your PC instead of having to put things onto your phone or put things onto your tablet or so on. So this session here isn't about the use of Instagram in general, but let me just cover a couple of things while we're sitting here looking at Instagram. And since my laptop is loading anyway, so I can't see what my laptop is up to. When you post on Instagram, you generally want to think in square shapes because the format of Instagram is to show everyone square shapes. And yes, it will take rectangles, but it's just not the way that it's optimized, and you want to use it the way that it works best. If it's something that is naturally not a square shape, like these flower things here that I did, these are naturally tall rectangles. So I put them on a similar colored paper so that it ended up forming a square shape anyway. And sometimes you don't have access to that, so like this one here, I just had a dark background, and that served the purpose just fine too. So do your best that you can for making a square shape. Like this one worked out nicely for a square shape. This one here, again, it was a rectangle shape, but I got it to be a square shape because of the sidelines. And that one was a circle, but I got it to be a square shape by putting it on a dark background. So I think you get the sense of ways to figure out to make something that's a rectangle. And if you're an artist, this can be tricky because artists work in all sorts of different, long horizontal or tall horizontal or other kinds of forms. Do your best you can to get the overall shape to be a square because that just works better. If you tried to put like this thing here, let's see, or this one here, this was a rectangle, and it will chop off things on the edges. So you generally don't want things chopped off, especially with artwork, but also with books, because if you have something in here and it's chopping off half of the book title, that's not serving you well either. So think in squares for when you're doing these kinds of things. So mandalas are nice because they naturally fit into squares, but you can see here for this one with the T for 2 promo that I did, it chopped off the WR for writing and the NW for review. And you still get the sense of what it's about, so it wasn't too awful, but it's good when you can. In this case, I didn't want to shrink that down because I was optimizing for YouTube, and it worked well enough for Instagram, which was just an incidental place to promote it. So, but like this one worked pretty well. You get the fish, you get the giant word fish, it all fits in there. Even my lisashea.com ended up fitting in there. So that's the sort of thought that you want to aim for. So let's talk about book promotions while we happen to be in here. Again, you want to think about squares. You want to think about the image being intriguing and eye-catching, but also you don't want the other stuff that you have in the image to overtake the actual book that you're trying to promote. Because if the book gets lost in the clutter, then the promo is not doing its purpose. The main point of this promo should be about promoting your book. So you want some other things in there. This is a sci-fi book, so I have some, 10 forward stuff and some Star Trek and Star Wars kind of stuff going on in here to give it that spacey kind of feel. But the key thing is the book. And the book, and then some other random things that are interesting. And then you want the text, and you want to remember, as my cat walks right in front of my face, Zuzu, Zuzu. Come on over here, sweetie. Or not. No, we do not want you eating the microphone stuff. So when it shows the text that you type in, it's only going to show about the first 2 lines before it shows the word more. So you need to make sure that what you have in those first 2 lines is the key eye-catching thing to get them to click to see more, because otherwise they're not going to see the rest of it. So you want the key text up front, and then some sort of a call to action, so the link to click on for clickable interfaces where they can click on what they're doing, or the description of what to search on so that they can find it themselves. My cat is laying on my laptop now while it's trying to update. You are such a good kitty. All right. Engaging text right up the front, something that's going to make them want to click. So once they click more, you want to have the thing that they're going to do. In this case, it was post to get a chance to win a free copy of the book, and then a set of hashtags. Some people like to put the hashtags in the main message. Some people like to then add a comment and have the hashtags in the comment. Whichever way you want to do it is fine, as long as you need hashtags somewhere in here. So one way or the other, you should have hashtags, and you want to make sure that you are doing things in a way that the hashtags are meaningful. Don't waste hashtags because you can only use a limited number of hashtags. Don't waste them on things that no one is ever going to search for, because that is non-helpful. You want to reach as many people as humanly possible with the hashtags that you are using. So here is another post that I made. A friend of mine was talking about journaling, so I made a post that has my journal and then has some sealing wax and one of my seals and my calligraphy pen and a Ukrainian egg and some tea. So in this case, it wasn't selling a book. It was just trying to encourage people to journal, since I am a strong proponent of journaling being good for your mental health. And this kind of image catches the eye and makes people think, oh, well, I'd like to journal. Maybe I should start journaling. So some of these posts are for my origami instructions, because I've been doing a sweep to do an updated set of all my origami instructions. Some of these posts are about me doing, I've got a video series where I talk about different horror stories, and these are the different promotions I was doing for the horror short stories. There are promotions for the videos, so the key was to talk about the name of the story and the name of the author and to help promote them. But I do also have down in here a little further, these are promotions for some cyanotypes I do, which are sun prints. These are for mono prints, which are acrylic single type prints. These are watercolors, so you can see a different selection of the different kinds of things that you do. So again, you always think squares. You always think about a clear image that someone can see, because while we are looking at this on our PC with a giant monitor, at least I'm looking at this on my giant monitor, most people use Instagram on smartphones, so they have a teeny tiny screen, so they can barely see that this is a letter U with a giraffe in it and with an African bird in it. They see a little tiny image. So you want it to be clear at that tiny image so that they are intrigued by it and want to click and learn more. All right, so here is down what I wanted to show you. So this is the horror short story compilation book, The Abyss Within, that I am part of, that I was talking about earlier. And this is a promo that one of our book reviewers did to promote this book. So in this case, the book is available in ebook form only. So there wasn't an option to use a physical book for the promos. They all had to use the cover of the book on a tablet or a phone or something like that. So she's got the book cover on a tablet plus some spooky kinds of things. So a skull with a flower and a pumpkin and some dark colors. And what I did for my promos, so she made a promo with this image with her description. Then to help promote her page, to drive people towards her blog, I did a promo where I included her image plus her text so that people could easily see that this is about Read by Dusk. And then I said thank you to her, and I linked to her and encouraged people to go read her blog and read the full promotion. So this is a multi-part promotion. Someone else made an image and did a promo for it. I then promoted the promo and linked to her and encouraged people to go see her. So that's the kind of thing that you can do when you start getting creative with Instagram. So let me get back to my page and go down a bit more here. Get past my watercolors. Right, so that was this one here with the skull and the candle. So this is another person who we did the similar thing. She made a post with the angry octopus, which I love, her angry octopus, and with the cover of the book. And she did a post promoting her blog post. So then I did a post promoting her Instagram account and encouraging people to go read the full blog post on her blog. Sorry. So let's see, where's another one? Nice one. Oh, I really like this one here. So the same thing, she had a little ghost sculpture and a little skeleton hand and some crystals and stuff. So she made a pretty layout with our book on her tablet with a layout. And then she wrote a little promo for it. And then I did a promo saying, thank you, everyone go read her at strange.books, and so on. So this is a great way if you work with a number of different authors. If you help promote each other's books, one person can do a post on their page of someone else's book, which is in the same genre, which it tends to work best if you're working with people who have similar audiences, because then you're cross-promoting to fans who will enjoy this sort of stuff. So I write horror, she writes horror, she does book reviews, she does a post about this book to her audience, I cross-promote it to my audience, which also enjoys this kind of work. And now I'm driving traffic to her so that people go to her page to read more about this book. So it's good to work with other people, to do cross promotions, to be able to help each other out for these kinds of things. And it also means that you are not just hammering your book all the time or hammering your art all the time. So it's good to promote. I mean, that's a key purpose of Instagram, but it's important to promote in a way that doesn't feel like a constant barrage of ads coming through, because then people tend to tune it out. So for example, with my artwork, I don't post the same letter A over and over and over and over again, because then people would get bored and would stop looking at it. But I post different kinds of things. So A, D, this was, clearly I was on a letter project at the time. So I was doing all the different letters of the alphabet for friends of mine, and then posting the results in here to encourage people to, think about doing monograms for their family or friends. This project down here was out of a mindfulness book, so they were all different projects. We were exploring mindfulness, just doing random circles and letting them spread to each other, doing random dendrites and letting them spread, and that sort of stuff. And then some of my posts are about how to do things. These are string art, so I was showing people how to do string art. And some of them are about book promotion. So this is that Abyss Within book, and I took a picture with a bunch of tarot cards and other things. So again, you want the main focus, if you're doing a book promotion, to be on the book itself, so people see that, and then you want any surrounding stuff to be in theme with the book and help create an overall image, but not detract from the book itself. You need a little short promo that catches people's eyes, and then have links to the book or descriptions of the book or both, and then bunches of hashtags. I think the limit is 30 right now, but whatever it is, you want to get close to it so that you're using every hashtag you can, and you want to use hashtags that are in high demand. It doesn't make sense to use hashtags that nobody's using, so that the posts that you make are not being seen by people. Always use hashtags, because while you can reach your own particular audience, and in my case I've got nope, sorry, switched over to Valleycast. That's what I get for just double clicking wildly. Come on. This is just another account that I run. There we go. Alright, so I've got 2367 followers. So if I make a post, then yes, it goes to my 2367 followers, or whoever happens to be online at the moment, and that is nice. But you want to reach far, far more people than are actually following you at the moment. So you want to use as many commonly used hashtags as possible, so that people find you, and then you get more fans and more people following you and more eyeballs on whatever it is that you're trying to talk about. And you should have some profile entries set up to help organize the things that you do. So I have an area for books, an area for cyanotypes to be able to feature a couple things. You should have your bio be easy to read and have a couple hashtags in it, so people who are searching for things like cyanotypes or watercolors can find you easily for your entire account, not necessarily just for posts that you are making, and so on. But I'll do a whole separate video on using Instagram in general. The key part of this video is to make you understand, or to help you understand, how Instagram works on a PC with BlueStacks so that you can post things and you can work on your posts, because that is something that you cannot do if you're just using the regular browser interface with Instagram. The regular browser interface with Instagram lets you read things and comments on things, but not post things. So let me know if you have any questions about how this works. So again, to summarize, in your browser, you want to go to bluestacks.com. BlueStacks.com will have a free download for the BlueStacks application. So once you install the BlueStacks application on your PC, then you will have access to the Google Play Store in there. You can install whatever types of applications you want. In this case, I have Instagram installed, and I have some other things installed. When you install things in BlueStacks, the things you have installed will be on your Home tab. So from your Home tab, you can access whatever things you have installed. One of them happens to be the Instagram app for me. And when you are in Instagram, it will, again, I'm trying to move this. No, stop. Trying to move this without doing those things. This is like, there's got to be a way to do this that I'm just not understanding. I'm trying to click on, there we go, the top area to move it without clicking on one of the particular tabs. But when you're in the Instagram app, it's going to format itself to a tall rectangle to mimic the layout of a phone or a tablet. And then you can do all normal applications just as if this was on a phone or a tablet, but with the advantages of a full big monitor and a mouse, or a tablet, if you like a drawing tablet, if you want to use a drawing tablet, and a full keyboard to type things. And you have access to your entire hard drive's worth of space for getting your hands on the images that you're working with. So the only tiny hiccupy thing is when you go to plus to add an image, and then let's say you want to do a feed post, and then you use this drop down by gallery to get to your Windows folder. When you do the pick from Windows, it can hiccup sometimes. So sometimes it'll give you an error that it couldn't load, but then it will load. Sometimes it'll make you re-pick it from Windows, and sometimes after you pick it from Windows, it'll take a couple seconds before it gets over into the Instagram app. So that is the only caveat, that you just want to be patient with this while you are doing the loading process. And here, let's just grab another thing from Windows just to show. So I grabbed a random image. It says it's been able to load it, then it says unable to load it. So if you have that sort of stuff happen, just know that that is normal. It's just something that happens. You just go back to Instagram and it is there. So this is the thing that I just randomly happened to choose just to do a test with. It was a prompt for Inktober. So it will load. You just have to be a little patient and understanding and not get too stressed about its random error messages or the delays that it has happened. So let me know if you have any questions about using Instagram on your computer by using BlueStacks to act as a mobile phone emulator. I know it sounds complicated, but just go to BlueStacks and download that. And once you're running BlueStacks, use the normal Google Play interface to get Instagram running. And then it should, if you're familiar with Instagram, everything else after there should be pretty familiar with you for how to do everything. But let me know if you have questions. I am happy to help. I'm sorry that my laptop is just now loading up, so that I can only just now, I suppose I can give it a second and just see if there's any questions before I sign off. There's always something technologically strange going on. And that's the way of the world. We'll see if we can even get a browser to load. I've got my cat lying half on my keyboard, half on my laptop keyboard, so the cat's trying to push things with her body. Alright, Twitch. I think it's probably time for me to get a new laptop with the slow speed of how this runs. Alright. I don't see any chats in there. I apologize if I missed anybody's chats because I just came in late. But hopefully I have answered questions about how to get the BlueStacks to get Instagram running and given a brief overview of some tips for Instagram. But I will do a separate video that is actually about Instagram and using Instagram as an author and using Instagram as an artist to give more tips about how to do that most effectively. So thank you for watching. I hope that I've answered your questions. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a wonderful day.